down the heading signal flow graphs. So take down the definition. A signal flow graph is a weighted plus directed graphical representation of a block diagram. Is it clear? Weighted plus directed graphical representation of a block diagram, right? So what does it mean? So it is a weighted plus directed graphical representation. What does it mean actually? It has both weightage, right? Every branch is going to have a particular weightage as well as a direction, right? So if it is said to have a single direction, it has a unique direction only, right? So there is no other direction, right? So it has both, yes, direction of signal, right? So if we indicate a branch like this, which means signal is traveling from this direction to this direction only. Signal is always traveling in this direction only. It can never travel in this direction, right? So it has a specific direction. As well as it has specific weightage, right? So if I say the gain of this particular path is 10, then its weightage is 10, right? If I say the gain of this particular path is 10, what does it mean? It has a weightage of 10, right? So that is what is called as a weighted and directed graph, right? A weighted and directed graph, right? So we'll see how to construct a signal flow graph from any block diagram, right? How to approach into a signal flow graph from any particular block diagram, right? So let us look into that. Let us say we have a block diagram like this. We have some block diagram like this. Some G1 is one block, G2 is another block like this. This is H, one block. So we have two inputs, let us say. This is one input, that is R of S. This is another disturbance input, D of S. This is our output, C of S. And negative sign here, positive sign here, positive sign here, positive sign here. So you will have B of S feedback signal. So I just want to convert this particular block diagram into a signal flow graph. Am I clear? I just want to convert this particular block diagram into a signal flow graph, right? So what are the steps I should follow, right? So please note down steps one by one. The first step is replace, step one, replace all the summing points as well as takeoff points with nodes. Replace all the summing points and takeoff points with nodes, right? Replace all the summing points and takeoff points with nodes. Therefore, let us go through the first point. What does it say? All the summing points. This is a summing point, this is a summing point, this is a takeoff point. So represent all of them with nodes only, right? So this is a summing point, this is a summing point, and this is a takeoff point, right? So summing point, just give numbers for convenience. 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So I am giving numbers here also just for convenience. 1, 2, 3, right? This is step 1. Step 2, connect the nodes with corresponding gain and direction between them. So are you people noting it down? So connect the nodes between 1 and 2. What is the gain? Between 1 and 2, what is the gain you have? You have G1. So that is the weightage of this branch. And also the direction is important. From 1 and 2 you have this direction. That direction is also important, right? See here, this direction is also important. So directions are very much important, right? So see here, this is G2. What about this? What is the gain in the feedback path? See here, 3 and 1 are connected by H, right? So what is this? What is the gain of this feedback path? So I just want to perform a summation like this. See, the gain of this particular block is 1 plus here, minus here. The gain of this is 1, right? I have two signals with me. Let us say A here and B here. What is the output I am going to get? What is the output I am going to get here? Tell me the output. Output I am going to get here is A minus B, right? Very good. A minus B, right? See, you don't, you might be misconcepting this with that of networks, right? So in networks you will say if if current I is passing from this direction to this direction, it is positive. If current is passing in negative direction, opposite direction, I is negative. This concept is never applicable here. This concept is not at all applicable here. You cannot apply this particular concept. Is it clear? So this same operation, see here, A minus B, this same operation can be performed in another way also, right? If I put a plus here instead of minus, if I put a plus here instead of minus, if I put a plus here and modify this gain as minus 1, I'll get the same output or not? Tell me, I'll get the same output or not if I replace the minus sign with plus here and if I multiply the gain with minus 1? Yes or no? Right? So because around a summer we have space to show plus minus all these things, right? Around a summer we have space in your book or on the board or anywhere you have space to show plus, whereas these are nodes, right? So how can you show signs around this, right? These are very small points, right? Nodes are very small points, right? So by default you are going to assume this node is a summing point only. If this node has branches coming into it like this, if this node has branches coming into it like this, right? This is a summing point only. It has all pluses only. You will assume this by default, right? So in order to perform this minus operation, what you will do is you will simply multiply this gain h with minus 1. You will simply multiply this gain with minus 1. That's it, right? So in the place of h, we'll use minus h. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? So see here, the third step is what? Step 3. See, please take this example also. Please note down this example also in your notebook, right? So the third step is what? Third step is simply replace the gain of negative feedback branches with minus of that h. Minus h. You can write down this point like this. Replace the gain h of negative feedback path with minus h. Replace the gain of negative feedback branch with minus h. Right? So write down the third step. Replace the gain of a negative feedback branch with minus h. Is it clear? Clear now, right? Therefore, see, you can use unity gain branches to connect these, right? You are giving input at here, right? At R of S you are giving the input, right? Therefore you can use unity gain branch at this point. You can use unity gain branch at this point, right? So from this point already you are getting C of S here, no doubt. You are already getting C of S here, but still for convenience you can use a unity feedback branch to show C of S at the output. So this is for your convenience, your simplification and all, right? So next you have one more input D of S, right? So you can separate this D of S and this node with a unity gain branch like this. So this is the signal flow graph representation of this particular transfer function. So this is how you will obtain the signal flow graph of any particular block diagram. For any particular block diagram, you will obtain the signal flow graph in this manner. Is it fine? Is it clear, everyone? So let us look at how we can easily find out the transfer function of any complex network of block diagrams using signal flow graph technique, right? So any complex networks of block diagrams can be, the transfer function of any network, any complex networks of block diagrams can be found out using Mason's gain formula, right? So just put the heading Mason's gain formula. We'll see how we can find out the overall transfer function of any particular system using Mason's gain formula. Mason's gain formula, right? So, and one more thing before writing out Mason's gain formula is just take down some basic definitions. So take down some basic definitions. The first definition is forward path. It is a path connecting the input node and output node from the input to the output. From the input to the output. See, it is a path connecting input to output in a direction from the input towards the output. So it is a path which would start at the input and in a direction from the input to the output like this. This is a forward path, right? This is a forward path, right? So take down the next definition. Forward path gain, product of gains of all the branches in the forward path, right? So in this case, let us calculate the forward path gain. What is forward path gain in this case? G2, right? So this is the forward path connecting R of S and C of S in this particular direction, right? So therefore product of 1, G1, G2 and 1, right? So in this case, forward path gain I am indicating with P1. P1 is equal to 1 multiplied by G1 multiplied by G2 multiplied by 1, that is equal to G1 G2 simply, right? Product of gains of all the constituents of the particular path is known as forward path, right? So if you look at this particular path, can we consider this as a forward path? No. The reason is, see, the direction here is, see here the direction is unidirectional like this, from the input towards the output, whereas in this case the direction is reverse, from the output towards the input, right? The direction is from the output towards the input. So this path is not a valid forward path. This path is not a valid forward path, right? So take down another definition, that is feedback path. Feedback path in the direction from the output towards the input. Sir, there are two forward paths, G1, G2 and G2. Yes, Niranjana, we are not considering this D of S as input, right? So if D of S is input, then G2 is a forward path for D of S, right? So we are considering D of S as a disturbance as of now. That is the reason why I did not consider. If you consider D of S as a second input, then this G2 is a forward path for D of S, right? Momentarily I am considering R of S as the only input. Is it okay? Right. So feedback path is the path connecting output to the input in a direction from the output towards the input, right? From the output towards the input, right? Write down a note here. Write down a note. In all the above, no node should be repeated more than once, right? So see here, generally what does it mean is, see, you might be considering, about होशियार हो ना, you people are very clever, and what you will do is, you will consider this path as a forward path. You will go like this, you will turn around like this, and again you will go like this, and you will consider this path as a forward path, right? So that is not a valid forward path. In this path, what is happening is, you are encountering this node twice, whereas this node also twice, this node also twice, right? Which means no node should be encountered more than once in any particular path. No node should be encountered more than once. Is it clear? Right? So in any path, whether it is a forward path or feedback path or whatever the path it is, no node should be encountered more than once, right? So no node should be encountered more than once. Take down the definition of loop. The next one is loop. Path starting at a node and ending at the same node, such that no node is repeated more than once. That is what is called as loop, right? So you can say this path starting at this particular node and traveling like this and coming back to the same node, right? This is a loop, right? So you can also consider like this. You can start at this node, you can come back like this, and you can return back to this. So if you have considered this as a loop once, you need not consider this again, right? Because this loop is made of same constituents. The constituents are G1, G2 and H, right? So what is the loop gain here? Can anyone tell me what is the loop gain in this example? In this example, the loop gain is how much? What is the gain of this? Minus H. Therefore, the loop gain is how much? Loop gain is minus G1, G2, H. Next definition is non-touching loops. Two loops are said to be non-touching if they don't have a single node in common, right? So when do we call two loops to be non-touching? They should not have even a single node in common. Then we will call those two nodes as non-touching loops. Those two loops as non-touching loops. So let us look at this using an example, right? So let us say we have a signal flow graph something like this. So we have some signal flow graph like this, right? So the gains are, this is G1 minus H1, G2 minus H2, this is some L1. This is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is C of S, this is R of S, right? So non-touching loops, right? And we have one more loop. Let us say one more loop is from here to here. This is minus H3, right? So from this you have to identify which loops are non-touching and which loops are touching, right? So let us call G1 L1 is equal to minus G1 H1. So let us first of all write down gains of all the loops, right? Loop gains. We are writing all the loop gains and giving them names. The first loop gain is G1 minus H1. L2. What is L2? L2 is minus G2 H2. Let us call L3 as minus G2 H3. L4 is, let us call it as L only, just L. L4 is L, right? How many loops do we have? We have 4 loops in total, right? Starting at this node and ending at this node. This is one loop, starting at this node, ending at this node. Second loop, starting at this node, ending at this node. Third loop, starting at this node and ending at this node. Fourth loop. We have 4 loops in this example, right? So what all loops are non-touching, right? So L1 and L2, are they touching each other? L1 and L2, G1 minus H1, G2 minus H2, are they touching each other? No. Therefore, we will list out all the non-touching loops. First pair of non-touching loops is L1, L2. L1 and L2 are not touching each other, right? So L1 and L, are they touching each other? Not touching each other, right? So L1 and L and L2 and L, these are non-touching loops. Whereas L1 and L3, are they touching each other? L1 and L3, are they touching each other or not touching each other? Touching each other, right? Because this loop is touching this particular loop, right? Therefore, L1 and L3 are touching. What about this? L1 and L, sorry, L2 and L. So L3 and L, they are also touching, right? So in this way, you can identify what all loops are touching each other and what all loops are not touching each other. Yeah. So Mason's gain formula, see here, overall transfer function represented by M, overall transfer function M is equal to 1 upon delta summation pk delta k. That's it. Very simple formula. You have to see what is meant by delta, what is meant by pk, what is meant by delta k. That's it. Once you get it, it is over. So overall transfer function M is equal to 1 upon delta sigma pk delta k, where k runs from 1 to n, where k runs from 1 to n, and we'll see each and every term clearly, right? So M, what is M? M is overall transfer function. M is overall transfer function of the SFG. So if you want to find out the transfer function of a particular SFG, M is nothing but M is the overall transfer function of your SFG, right? So what about N? N is total number of forward paths. N is total number of forward paths, right? So N is the total number of forward paths, and PK is gain of kth forward path. So please keep noting these in your notebook, right? Mason's gain formula looks a little complicated, but it is not complicated at all. It is very, very, very easy. We'll see through all the problems. ये पूरा clear हो जाएगा आपको problems के through, right? So PK is gain of kth forward path, right? So which means P1, if you are finding P1 is gain of first forward path, P2 gain of second forward path, like that. P1 is gain of first forward path, right? P2 is gain of second forward path, like this, right? So this is PK. So let us look into what is delta. What is delta? See, delta is equal to 1 minus summation of individual loop gains. 1 minus summation of individual loop gains, right? Plus summation of product of pi of something means product of something, sigma of something means summation of something. Taiba, what happened? So product of non-touching loop gains taken two at a time. You can also say it as product of loop gains of pairs of non-touching loops, right? So that's okay, Taiba, right? So product of loop gains of pairs of non-touching loops, right? So product of non-touching loop gains taken two at a time, right? So next it is minus again. Alternative sign change will be there. 1 minus plus again minus, right? So summation of product of non-touching loop gains, taken 3 at a time, and this continues so on, right? So depending on the number of non-touching loops we have, this continues so on, right? So this is about delta. Delta might be looking a little difficult to calculate, but it is not so. It is very easy. You can just look into the diagram of any signal flow graph, and you can easily calculate the value of delta anytime. right? So is delta clear to everyone? Right? Delta is what? 1 minus summation of individual loop gains plus summation of product of non-touching loop gains taken 2 at a time plus, sorry, minus summation of product of non-touching loop gains taken 3 at a time, so on, right? So this is about delta, right? So let us look at delta K. Delta K. Delta K is delta calculated by omitting all the loops touching the kth forward path, right? So how will you calculate delta K? You will take first forward path. If you want to calculate delta 1, you will take first forward path. You will see whichever loops are touching the first forward path. You will just eliminate all those loops which are touching the first forward path, and you will just forget about all the loops which are touching the first forward path, and you will calculate delta. That's it. Delta K, delta 1 or delta 2. If you want to calculate delta 2, you will look at forward path gain 2, right? You will take the second forward path, you will leave all the loops which are touching the second forward path, and you will calculate delta. That's it, right? So it is very simple. We will see how to implement this Mason's gain formula with a simple example, right? Using a simple example, we will see how to actually find out the overall transfer function using Mason's gain formula. So let us take down an example. Let us take this signal flow graph. We'll have to find out the overall transfer function for this signal flow graph, right? So this is the signal flow graph. So you have 3 loops in this, and this is one self loop starting at the same node and ending at the same node. I mean, it has only a single node, right? So this is a signal flow graph. Find out the overall transfer function C of S upon R of S for this signal flow graph. C of S upon R of S for this signal flow graph, right? So this is your question. Find out the overall transfer function C of S upon R of S. So you have to find out C of S upon R of S for this question. So tell me, how many forward paths are there in the signal flow graph? How many forward paths do we have in the signal flow graph? How many forward paths? Yes, we have 3 forward paths. We have 3 forward paths, right? So you can clearly see the 3 forward paths. You can say n is equal to 3. N is what? N is the number of forward paths. Number of forward paths is 3, right? Therefore, this is the first forward path, this is the second forward path, and this is the third forward path, right? So let us write down the gains of each. Yes, that's okay, Sika. Right? Let us write down the gains of each and every forward path, right? So the gain of first forward path P1 is equal to what? 2 multiplied by G1 multiplied by 1. It is 2 times of G1. 2G1. What about P2? P2 is equal to 3 multiplied by G2 multiplied by 2. 3 multiplied by 2, 6. This is 6G2. 6G2. What about P3? P3 is equal to 4G3 multiplied by 2. 8 times of G3. Right? So P3 is equal to 8G3. 8G3. Right? So how many loops are there in this? Yes, the number of loops is 4. Number of loops is equal to 4, right? This is one loop, this is second loop, this is third loop, and this is the fourth loop, right? We have 4 loops. So let us write down the gains of each and every loop clearly, right? L1 is equal to how much? Let us say this is L1. I will indicate clearly what is which loop. This is L1, this is L2, this is L3, or else let us call this as L1, L2, L3, L4. We have 4 loops like this. So the first loop gain, what is the gain of L1? It is G1 multiplied by minus 2. Yes or no? G1 multiplied by minus 2, it is minus 2G1. What about L2? L2 is equal to minus G2, right? I've said that in the definition itself, right? Whether it is a loop, whether it is a forward path, whether it is a feedback path, whatever path it is, any node cannot repeat, right? So in loop, what happens is only one loop repeats, right? So a loop is a path starting at a node and ending at the same node, such that no other node repeats more than once. Is it clear? So it should start at the same node and should end at the same node. Don't consider that particular node as repeating. For self loop, it is no, see. So not only for self loop, it is, see, you can say this node is repeating for this also. You can say like this particular node, right? So it is obvious that if it starts at a particular node and ends at the same node, then that node will be repeating. It is obvious, right? No other node. See, this is encountered only once, right? Loop is defined as, right, path starting at the same node and ending at the same node, such that no node is encountered more than once. No node is encountered more than once, right? So what does it mean? So if you repeat again like this, and if I ask you for the loop gain, you say it is minus 2g1 multiplied by minus 2g1, you can say 4g1 square, right? So you can multiply it thrice and you can say it is minus 8g1 square, right? That is not a valid approach. You should have to consider this once only, that is minus 2g1, that's it. But for two separate loops, we can have the same node, right? So let us look at L2. L2, what is L2? L2 is g2 multiplied by minus 1, minus g2, right? It is minus g2. Look at L3, what is L3? L3 is minus g3. What about L4? L4 is simply 3. So let us look at non-touching loop pairs, right? Write down non-touching. So L1 and L2, they are not touching, right? L1, L2 are not touching. You can write L1, L2. So what is the product of L1, L2 going to be? L1, L2 is equal to 2 minus 2g1 minus g2. It is 2g1, right? L1, L2. So what are the next two loops which are not touching? L1, L3. You can write L1, L3. L1, L3, that is minus 2g1 minus g3. It is plus 2g1 g3, right? So what other loops are not touching? L2 and L3 are not touching. L2 and L3 are not touching. So L2, L3 is equal to what? G2, G3. L2, L3 is equal to G2, G3, right? So what about L2 and L4? L2 and L4 are also not touching, but L1 and L4 are touching. So we cannot consider L1 and L4, we can consider L2 and L4, right? L2 and L4 are not touching. Therefore, L2, L4 is equal to 3 multiplied by minus G2. It is minus 3 G2. L4 and L3 are not touching. So L4 and L3 are not touching. This is L3, L4 is equal to what? L3, L4 is equal to minus 3 G3. Right? Is it clear till now? L3, L4 are also not touching. And we have written all the non-touching loop pairs, right? So write down all the non-touching loop triads. Loop pairs are done. Non-touching loop triads. So I'm writing it here. Non-touching loop triads. And I'm writing it in short form. Non-touching loop triads, right? L1, L2, L3, all the three are not touching each other, right? Therefore, L1, L2 and L3. What is the product? Minus 2g1, minus g2, minus g3. It is minus 2g1, g2, G3, right? So what triad next? L2, L3 and L4. Rindu Ghosh, very good. L2, L3, L4. So all of you have answered. Rohini also answered. L2, L3, L4. L2, L3, L4 is also not touching. Yes. L2, L3, L4 is equal to what? It is minus G2 plus G3 and 3. Therefore, 3G2, G3. 3G2, G3 is the gain here. Right? So after writing all these things, we need to write delta. What is delta? Delta is equal to 1 minus summation of all individual loop gains. Summation of all individual loop gains minus 2G1 minus G2 minus G3 plus 3. Right? Plus product of summation of non-touching loop pairs. Right? Product of summation of non-touching loop pairs. Product of summation of product of non-touching loop pairs. Right? So you will add L1, L2, L1, L3, L2, L3, L2, L4 and L3, L4. You will add all these things. Right? Therefore, it is 2G1, G2 plus 2G1, G3 plus G2, G3 minus 3G2 minus 3G3. So the next is summation of product of non-touching loop triads, right? Summation of product of non-touching loop triads. You have to take alternative sign always, right? Therefore, it is 2G1, G2, G3 plus 3G2, G3, right? This is delta. If you simplify this, you will get the value of delta, right? So let us look at delta 1. Delta 1, right? So delta 1 is equal to what? Delta 1 is equal to, right? So see, consider the first forward path. Consider the first forward path. All the loops which are touching the first forward path are not present. You have to consider all the loops which are touching the first forward path are not at all present, right? Then calculate delta, right? So see, it is a little lengthy problem. If we solve this particular problem, it is done, right? All the remaining problems are very easy, right? Just this particular lengthy problem, that's it, right? While calculating delta 1, you will neglect, right? You will neglect what all loops L1 and L4 are not at all present. While calculating delta 1, you will consider L4 and L1. L4 and L1 are not present. So what are present? L2, L3 are present. So wherever you have L4 and L1, right? So neglect those terms, right? Neglect L4 and L1. In this also you have L1. In this also you have L1. In this you don't have L1. In this you have L4. In this you have L4. Just neglect. So in this you have L1. In this you have L4. You will neglect both of these two terms, right? You will neglect this term and you will neglect this term. So you will get delta is equal to 1 minus summation of L2 and L3, right? 1 minus summation of L2 plus L3, right? This is minus G2 minus G3 plus C. L2 and L3 are not touching, right? L2, L3. There is a pair of non-touching loops also plus L2, L3. What is the value of L2, L3? It is G2, G3. G2, G3. That's it. I will consider whatever loops that are touching the first forward path. Del 1. 1 means first forward path. Whatever loops that are touching the first forward path, I am considering they are not present at all. They are not at all present. Right? First, whatever the loops that are touching the first forward path are not at all present, which means these L1 term and L4 terms will not be present. Wherever L1 and L4 are present, they are neglected. Is it clear? Is it clear? There is no specific formula from the formula of delta only we are calculating delta 1 also. Is it clear? Right. So let us calculate delta 2 here. Delta 2. For calculating delta 2, see, you should, which loops you should neglect. What are loops you should neglect while calculating delta 2? While calculating delta 2, you should neglect all the loops containing this L2, right? So wherever L2 is present, you will eliminate that, right? So L2, this you have eliminated. Again, here L2, you will eliminate this. Here L2, you will eliminate this. This you will eliminate, right? In both of them, you have L2, you will eliminate this, right? Therefore, delta 2 is equal to, see here, 1 minus 2G1 minus G3 plus 3, right? Plus L1 L3 L4, right? Plus 2G1 G3 minus 3G2. So what you have to do is, you just ask your friends who have left the class to just look into this problem. This problem is very much important, right? So if they get this problem, they can solve any problem in signal flow graphs. That's it, right? Let us look at delta 3. Delta 3, for calculating delta 3, you have to neglect all the terms containing L3. This contains L3, this contains L3, this has L3, right? This does not have L3, this has L3, this has L3, this does not have L3. Whereas this has L3 and remaining all doesn't have L3, right? So now, how to calculate delta 3? It is 1 minus 2G1 minus G2 plus 3, 2G1 G2 minus 3G2. So this is how you calculate delta 3. So you have got P1, delta 1, P2, delta 2, P3, delta 3 and delta. You have got everything, right? So what does your Mason's gain formula say? From Mason's gain formula, right? So if you expand Mason's gain formula, M is equal to what? M is equal to P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2, P3 delta 3 divided by delta, right? It is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 plus P3 delta 3 divided by delta. So you got P1, P2, P3, delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, and you have to multiply these and you have to divide this with delta. That's it, right? So I'm not simplifying it here. You can just simplify this. The basic idea is identifying the number of non-touching loops from the signal flow graph, right? So once you obtain the number of non-touching loops, right? So how you calculate delta, delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3, right? So for delta you have the formula, right? 1 minus summation of all individual loop gains plus summation of product of non-touching loop pairs, right? Minus summation of product of non-touching loop triads and so on. Like this you will calculate delta, right? For calculating delta 1, what you will do is you will consider all the loops touching the first forward path as not at all present, right? You will omit them, right? While calculating delta 2, you will consider all the loops touching the second forward path as not at all present. While calculating delta 3, you will consider all the loops touching the third forward path as not at all present, right? So is it clear, everyone? Is this process clear? Right? If you just simplify this, of course you are going to get a big transfer function, a huge transfer function, right? So this is just for explaining you the example how to calculate the Mason's using the Mason's gain formula, the overall transfer function, how you will calculate, right? So we'll see the problems which we have seen doesn't have these many big transfer functions. They have very few. In majority of the problems, you won't have to calculate. You don't have to calculate this delta 1, delta 2, and delta 3, right? They will always come. To be 1.